Meet the toughest animal you've never heard of. No, it's not a baby rabbit. This is a pika. Don't let the cute squeak fool you. These little guys are absolute survival experts. Pikas are essentially nature's tiny, hard-working mountain survivalists. While they look a bit like round, oversized hamsters or guinea pigs, they're actually lagomorphs, meaning they're closely related to rabbits and hares. Pikas lack visible tails, but they do have tails for sure, even though their tails are hidden. They are strictly adapted to cold mountain environments. Because they cannot survive hot weather, they serve as crucial indicator species for climate change. Their thick fur and high metabolic rate mean that being exposed to temperatures as mild as 75 degrees Fahrenheit to 78 degrees Fahrenheit for just a few hours can actually be fatal to them. As global temperatures rise, pikas are forced to move further and further up the mountains to stay cool. Because they are already at the peaks of many mountains, they are often considered an indicator species, or a canary in the coal mine, for the visual impacts of climate change. Because pikas live in freezing mountain climates, you might assume they hibernate during the winter. They don't. Instead, they survive the winter by spending their entire summer acting like miniature farmers. Pikas spend their summers preparing hay piles to survive the winter. They do this by scurrying back and forth from mountain meadows, gathering grasses, weeds, and wildflowers. After that, they lay the plants out on sunny rocks so they dry out completely. If they stored them wet, the plants would rot and mold under the snow. Once dried, they move these hay piles into crevices deep beneath the rocks to eat all winter long. A single pika can create a winter stockpile the size of a bushel basket. Pikas might look sweet, but they are fiercely territorial. They live in loose colonies among rocky slopes called talus, but each pika claims its own specific rock pile and hay cache. If a neighbor tries to sneak over and steal from their hay pile, which happens a lot, the owner will aggressively chase them away. Pikas are famous for their high-pitched, nasal warning squeak, often sounding like a tiny yike or a squeaky toy. They use this call to announce their territory or warn the rest of the colony that a predator, like a hawk or a weasel, is nearby. Pika's reproductive cycle is a high-stakes race against time. They have to breed, raise their young, and teach them to build their own winter hay piles before the snow returns. As the breeding season peaks between May and June, male pikas alter their vocalization patterns. They switch from short, aggressive territorial warning ticks to elaborate, frequent mating songs intended to attract nearby females and signal sexual readiness. In certain alpine species, males practice a unique form of tactile and visual courtship. They are known to forage for the most colorful, nutrient-rich wildflowers and grasses to present as bouquets to females near their den entrances, to soften territorial aggression and reinforce pairs because pikas are famously fierce defenders of their personal territories, making the initial approach a delicate process. But during the peak of the spring estrus, pikas intentionally lower their typical territorial hostility to allow neighbors to interact. Female pikas exhibit active mate choice if multiple males are nearby. Rather than evaluating the male's physical size alone, females select mates primarily based on habitat quality, favoring males who possess deep dens with multiple escape exits and immediate proximity to lush vegetation. Once a female accepts a male's presence on her territory, physical interaction proceeds rapidly. Pika females are induced reflex ovulators. A female pika does not release eggs automatically based on a fixed internal clock. Instead, the physical stimulus of copulation itself triggers her hormonal system to release the eggs for fertilization. Because pikas do not share dens or co-parent, the interaction ends immediately after mating occurs. After successful mating, the male is driven back to his own adjacent territory. The female manages the entire 30-day gestation period, nest building, and nursing alone.